I still remember the night everything shifted. It didn't come with a warning. No big argument. No strange tension in the air. Just an ordinary evening. The kind you don't think twice about. I had finished work a little later than usual. Traffic on the way home was slow, the kind that gives you too much time to think about nothing important. I walked up the stairs to our apartment, expecting the same quiet comfort I always did. Maybe the smell of her favorite candle. Maybe her curled up on the couch watching one of those shows she never finished. But when I opened the door, something felt off. Thought the room was quiet, too quiet. No sound, no music. Not even the small hum of her moving around. At first, I tried to brush it off. Maybe she stepped out for a walk. Maybe she was in the shower. Maybe anything. But then I saw it. Her phone. Lying on the kitchen counter. Screen lighting up the dark room with a bright glow. Normally, she kept her phone close. Always in her pocket or right beside her. But tonight, it was abandoned, screen facing up, buzzing with notifications. I shouldn't have looked. I know that. But something in my chest tightened. Like my instincts were grabbing me by the collar and saying, "Look, something isn't right." And then I saw the message that changed everything. Last night stayed on my mind. "When can I see you again?" My breath stopped. Everything inside me froze for a second, like my body needed time to understand what my eyes were seeing. I stared at the words, hoping I misread them. Hoping the name on top would be a cousin, a friend, a wrong number, anything that made sense. But no. It was a name I recognized. A name she had mentioned before in passing. A guy from her gym. Someone she said was just someone who runs on the treadmill next to me. The message buzzed again. Another line appeared. "Don't worry. He won't find out." This time, it felt like the floor dropped under me. I grabbed the counter to steady myself because suddenly my hands were shaking. My heart wasn't just pounding, it was hurting. Like a slow, burning pressure spreading through my chest. I didn't want to open the phone. But I had to. My fingers moved before my mind made a decision, and there it was. A full conversation. Late-night messages. Inside jokes I'd never heard. Moments she shared with him while telling me she was too tired to talk. Each line felt like a small cut, soft enough to be invisible, but sharp enough to break something inside me. I didn't yell. I didn't throw the phone. I didn't call her name. I just stood there in the quiet, staring at the truth I didn't ask for. She cheated. The girl I trusted, the girl I built a future around, the girl I believed would never hurt me like this, betrayed me without hesitation. For a long moment, I just stood there, unable to move. It was like my mind had to rebuild everything, who she was, who we were, and what I thought my life looked like. But then something unexpected happened. A strange calmness washed over me. Not peace. Not acceptance. Something different, colder, clearer. My anger didn't explode, it settled. My heartbreak didn't break me, it focused me. And in that quiet, painful moment, one thought came to me so clearly, it almost scared me. She thinks I won't find out. But she has no idea what's coming. I didn't want revenge in the loud, dramatic way people imagine. No shouting, no scenes, no fights. I wanted something quieter. Something controlled. Something that would let the truth expose everything she tried to hide. A slow, quiet unraveling. A kind of justice that didn't need noise to hit hard. Because sometimes the most powerful revenge is delivered in silence. As I stood there, in that dim kitchen lit only by the glow of her secrets, I realized something important. This wasn't the end of my world. It was the beginning of a new chapter. A chapter where I wasn't the blind, trusting man she took for granted. A chapter where she would learn slowly, deeply, and unmistakably what betrayal really leads to. And it all started right there. With one message. One moment. One quiet decision that would change both of our lives forever. That was the night everything changed. The night her cheated secrets began to fall apart. And my quiet revenge quietly came to life. I used to believe I knew her better than anyone. Looking back now, I realize I only knew the version she allowed me to see. We met in Chicago on a windy afternoon, the kind where the city feels alive in a loud, busy way. I had ducked into a small coffee shop near Michigan Avenue to escape the weather, and she walked in right after me. Her hair was a mess from the wind, her cheeks pink from the cold, and she laughed as she tried to fix it. That laugh, it hit me instantly. It felt warm, easy, real. She dropped her wallet, I picked it up, and somehow that turned into a 20-minute conversation about music, movies, and the best places to eat in the city. Before I even realized it, I was asking for her number, and she was smiling like she already knew she would give it. From that moment, things moved fast. Dinners, long walks near the lake, late-night calls that lasted until morning. It all felt natural, effortless, like we didn't have to try. For a long time I believed she was my person. Life with her was cozy. We got an apartment just outside the city, small, but ours. She loved decorating it with string lights and little plants that she kept forgetting to water. I handled the cooking. She handled the playlists. On quiet nights, she would curl up next to me and talk about dreams, real ones. Building a business, maybe a small bakery someday. She said she wanted a family eventually. A house with a backyard. A dog. Something stable. I pictured all of that with her. Every bit of it. For a while it felt like we were moving toward the same future at the same pace. But here's the thing about memories. When life is good, you don't question anything. You just enjoy the moment and assume tomorrow will look the same. It wasn't until much later, after the truth hit me, that I started replaying everything in my mind. Every small moment. Every strange shift. Every time something felt off. The first signs were small. Almost invisible. She started guarding her phone a little more. Turning it face down when she never used to care. Saying she needed more space, even though she used to love being close. At first, I blamed stress. Work had been busy for her. She was tired more often, distracted, distant. But then there were the new habits. Late-night gym sessions. Sudden weekend errands. Plans that didn't include me. Every time I asked if everything was okay, she'd give me the same soft smile and say, "Just tired, babe. Don't worry." And I believed her. Because when you love someone, you want to believe them. You want to trust the person you built your whole world around. There were moments when my gut whispered something was wrong, but I pushed it away. Told myself I was overthinking. Told myself she loved me. Told myself everything was fine. But now that I've seen the truth, I can look back and admit something I wasn't ready to accept back then. I missed every red flag, every late-night phone call she forgot to mention, every sudden change in schedule, every moment she pulled away emotionally but pretended nothing had changed. It's crazy how the mind protects you from pain until it can't anymore. How you convince yourself you're imagining things because the alternative is too painful to face. The gap between who she seemed to be and who she really was. It wasn't sudden. It was slow. A subtle, quiet drift that I tried to ignore until the distance grew too wide to deny. She played the part well. The caring partner. The girl who dreamed big with me. The one who held my hand during movies and whispered loving words when life felt heavy. But now, when I think about those moments, a part of me wonders, was it all real? Or was she just good at acting? Maybe that's the hardest part of betrayal, not just the lies, but the way it makes you question every memory you used to treasure. Still, even with all the confusion, one thing became painfully clear. The woman I fell in love with was not the woman who betrayed me, and that truth, as heavy as it was, helped me understand the one thing I needed to move forward. She didn't change overnight. She simply revealed who she really was. And I finally admitted the truth I avoided for too long. I saw the red flags. I just didn't want them to be real. That realization hurt. But it also became the foundation for everything that would come next, because knowing who she truly was made it easier to plan how I would quietly walk away from the life she pretended to build with me. The morning after I discovered the truth felt unreal. It was one of those moments where you wake up hoping everything was just a bad dream. But the second I opened my eyes, the weight in my chest reminded me it was all real. She had cheated. She had lied. And I was now living in a world that looked the same on the outside, but felt completely different on the inside. When I walked into the kitchen, she was already there, hair tied up, making coffee, humming softly like nothing in her world was broken. She looked up at me with this warm smile, the kind she used to give me before everything fell apart inside me. "Morning," she said. I forced myself to breathe evenly. "Morning," I replied, acting like my heart wasn't being squeezed in a way I'd never felt before, pretending not to know. That was the hardest thing I'd ever done. I sat down, and she slid a mug toward me. Same routine. Same rhythm. Except now every move felt staged, like we were actors in a play I didn't want to be part of anymore. She talked about her day, the meeting she had, the errand she needed to run. And I watched her talk, wondering how someone could lie so smoothly, so comfortably, without even blinking. When her phone buzzed, she picked it up a little too fast. Another small sign. Another red flag I couldn't unsee now that the truth was out. She typed a reply quickly, then placed the phone face down again. It was almost funny. She didn't realize that hiding her phone now looked louder than anything she said. I kept my calm. I had to. If I slipped, if I reacted, she would sense something. And I needed her to feel safe. Because people reveal more when they think no one is watching. While she talked, I replayed the messages I saw the night before. The words. The tone. The details she shared with someone else instead of me. My chest tightened again, but I kept my face still. I couldn't let her see the storm inside me. When she left for work, I told her I'd be home late. She smiled, kissed my cheek, and said, "Okay, babe." Like everything was normal. And the moment the door closed behind her, I felt the air leave my lungs. That wasn't sadness anymore. That was the beginning of clarity. I grabbed my notebook and started writing everything down. Dates, times, messages, excuses she gave me that didn't match her actual movements. I checked our shared calendar, our bank transactions, old photos, even receipts she left in her purse. Not because I wanted to expose her to anyone else, but because I needed the truth laid out in front of me. No doubts, no guessing. No room for her to twist anything once the time came. The more I looked, the more everything lined up. The late-night gym trips? They matched the exact times he texted her. The extra work meetings? They always happened on the same days he posted pictures near her office. The nights she said she was too tired? Those were the same nights she messaged him past midnight. Every piece fit into a puzzle. I never asked to solve. And despite the pain, something inside me hardened in a way I didn't expect. It wasn't anger. It wasn't rage. It was focus. Over the next few days, I acted like nothing was wrong. I cooked dinner. I laughed at her jokes. I asked how her day was. I nodded along as she fed me more lies, thinking I was completely clueless. But inside, I was observing everything. The way she stepped outside to take calls. The way she typed faster when she thought I wasn't looking. The way she avoided eye contact when I asked simple questions. She thought she was getting away with it. And honestly, that was what I needed. Because the more she felt free, the more comfortable she became. And the more comfortable she became, the sloppier her lies grew. I watched her weave stories that didn't make sense. I listened to excuses that didn't match the timeline. I saw her smile at messages that weren't from me. All the while, my silence grew stronger, calmer, sharper. Pretending not to know took everything out of me. It wasn't just acting, it was carrying a secret that burned every second. But it also gave me something powerful. Control. She had taken my trust. She had taken our future. But my silence gave me something she couldn't see coming. A quiet strength. A plan forming slowly. A decision shaping itself inside me. By the end of that week, I realized something important. I didn't need anger to bring the truth to light. I didn't need a confrontation or a dramatic scene. All I needed was patience, because every lie she told was another step toward the moment everything would fall apart, and I was ready to let her walk deeper into the story she created. So when the truth finally landed, she would have no one to blame but herself. The real conflict wasn't between us. It was inside me, between heartbreak and clarity. And slowly, clarity was winning. I'll never forget the night everything finally made sense. The night all the small signs, all the quiet lies, all the strange moments came together like a puzzle I never wanted to solve. It started with her standing in the hallway, holding her bag, smiling like she wasn't hiding a thing. "Hey," she said casually. "I'm going out with the girls tonight. It's been a while." Her voice sounded light, relaxed, almost too relaxed. But I played my part. I smiled back and said, "Yeah, have fun." My tone was calm, almost supportive. And she had no idea that those simple words came from a man who already knew the truth. After she left, I sat down on the couch, staring at the door, listening to the silence she left behind. It felt heavy, but not in the same way as before. This time, it felt like a countdown. A few minutes later, my phone buzzed. I looked down and felt my chest tighten, not with fear, but with confirmation. It was a rideshare notification from our shared account. She had dropped off downtown. At the restaurant she claimed the girls' night was happening. Not anywhere near it. Instead, she got out at a rooftop bar I knew well, one we'd gone to together on our 2-year anniversary. The place she said was too fancy to visit often. My heart sank, but not because of shock. More like acceptance. Opened social media out of habit, and there it was. A location check-in posted only 3 minutes later, the same rooftop bar. And the name attached to the post? Derek, the gym guy. The man whose messages I had read late at night through the glow of her phone. The man she had chosen to share pieces of herself with, pieces that used to belong to me. I stared at the screen for a long moment, letting the truth settle in a way that felt strangely calm. There it was. Absolute proof. Everything she had denied without even knowing she was denying it. But instead of anger, I felt something else, clarity. I didn't grab my keys. I didn't follow her. I didn't drive downtown to catch them in the act. No. I wasn't giving her a dramatic moment to twist into another lie. I wasn't giving her a confrontation she could cry through or escape from. Wanted her to feel safe, comfortable, untouchable. Because people reveal more when they think they're in the clear. And she was definitely in the clear, at least in her mind. So I stayed home, sat on the couch, and watched the hours pass slowly. Around midnight, I checked the rideshare app again. Another ping. She was on her way back. I stood by the window, arms crossed, heart steady, breathing slow. Not because I wasn't hurting, but because pain had turned into something sharper. Understanding that the door opened around 1 a.m. She stepped in, laughing softly to herself, trying to keep quiet. When she saw me awake, she startled a bit. "Oh, I thought you'd be asleep," she said. I shrugged lightly. "Couldn't sleep." She walked closer, and that's when I noticed it. The faint scent of cologne I didn't wear, mixed with a floral perfume that wasn't hers. A blend of two people who were way too close that night. It hit me, but not in the way I expected. It didn't break me. It didn't crush me. It confirmed everything. She mumbled something about her friend, Jess, getting drunk again, and how she had to help her get home. Every word felt like a performance, a script she had rehearsed too many times. I nodded slowly, pretending to believe her. Pretending her story didn't crumble the second she opened her mouth, she smiled awkwardly, kissed my cheek, and walked past me to the bedroom. I didn't move for a long minute. I just stood there, letting the truth wash over me in a quiet, powerful wave. This wasn't an accident. This wasn't confusion. This wasn't a one-time mistake. This was betrayal, planned, hidden, repeated. And that night, watching her walk away, something inside me shifted. My heartbreak finally turned into certainty. My patience became purpose. My silence became strength. And in the calmest voice inside my mind, I heard the words I had been waiting to feel. It's time. Time to stop pretending. Time to stop hurting alone. Time to start my quiet revenge, the kind she would never see coming until everything she built on lies came crashing down on its own. That night, she slipped, and her entire secret world slipped with her. The morning after she slipped, something inside me changed. It wasn't the same sharp heartbreak I felt before. It wasn't the same shock or confusion. This time, it was clarity. I woke up with a strange calmness, like my emotions had finally stopped fighting each other. The pain was still there, yes, but it had shifted from something that crushed me to something that focused me. I didn't want to scream. I didn't want to argue. I didn't want to beg for answers that I already had. What I wanted was control. Quiet, steady control. That morning, I made breakfast just like I always did. She walked into the kitchen looking tired, maybe hungover, maybe pretending. She gave me a soft smile, the kind she used when she wanted to act innocent. "Did you sleep okay?" she asked. "Yeah," I said calmly. And for the first time, she noticed something. Something small. Something subtle. A distance. I wasn't cold. I wasn't rude. But I wasn't the man who used to fill the silence with affection. I spoke less. I asked fewer questions. I didn't reach for her hand like I normally did, and that shift, that tiny shift, made her eyes linger on me a little longer. It was working. Over the next few days, I stayed consistent. I was polite, gentle even, but disconnected in a way she couldn't quite read. She'd ask if I wanted to watch a movie. I'd say, maybe later. She'd ask if something was wrong. I'd smile and say, just tired. I watched her confusion grow with every passing hour, because here's the truth: most people don't recognize someone who lies expects anger. They expect yelling. They expect confrontation, but quiet, calm distance, that's what shakes them. That's what exposes them from the inside out. While she tried to figure out what was happening, I made my own moves quietly, carefully, and with purpose. The first step was finding a new apartment. During my lunch break at work, I toured a small place across town. It wasn't fancy, but it was mine. The moment I walked inside, with its empty walls and quiet stillness, I felt something I hadn't felt in weeks: breathing room. I signed the lease that same day. Next, I called a moving company. I scheduled them for a morning. I knew she'd be gone. One of her workshops, which was really just another excuse she used to see him. Everything was falling into place. But the most important part of my plan wasn't the apartment or the movers. It was the letter. I sat at my desk that night with a pen in my hand, the apartment dark except for a small lamp. And I wrote, not hate, not anger, not accusations. Just truth. Every detail, every timeline, every message, every moment she thought I wasn't paying attention. I didn't add insult. I didn't attack her character. I didn't write anything that could turn into an argument later. I simply handed her the mirror she had been avoiding. A mirror made of facts. A mirror she couldn't hide from. When I finished, I folded the letter neatly and sealed it in an envelope. No dramatic labels. No "read this message." Just her name, because real truth doesn't need decoration. For the next 2 days, I prepared slowly and quietly. I packed my belongings in boxes she never bothered to inspect. I organized everything neatly in the hallway closet, the one she never opened. I cleared my work calendar. I made sure every step lined up perfectly. And through it all, I kept my voice calm. I kept my expression soft. I kept my distance steady. She knew something was off. I could see it in the way she looked at me, the way she paused before speaking, the way she checked her phone while glancing at me, as if she expected me to confront her, but I never did. And that silence made her more nervous by the day. The night before everything was set to happen, she asked me, "Are we okay? You've seemed different." I looked her in the eyes, and for the first time in weeks, I didn't feel the urge to hide my emotions. "We'll talk soon," I said. Her face tightened with worry, but she nodded. That moment told me everything I needed to know. She felt it. She sensed the shift. She realized the ground beneath her feet wasn't solid anymore. She just didn't know that the foundation was already gone, and by tomorrow, she'd see the truth in full, because the perfect timing was almost here, and when it landed, there would be no yelling, no fighting, no chaos. Just truth, quiet, undeniable truth. And that was all the revenge I needed. The morning everything finally collapsed didn't start with noise. It started with quiet. Almost too quiet. She was getting ready for another workshop. Another excuse. Another story she thought I still believed. I watched her move around the bedroom, calm, casual, completely unaware that her entire world was about to shift. She grabbed her bag, sprayed her perfume, and fixed her hair in the mirror. She didn't notice me watching her reflection. "Wish me luck," she said with a soft smile. I nodded. "Yeah, good luck." She walked toward the door, paused, turned back toward me like she wanted to ask something, but didn't. Then she left, and when the door clicked shut behind her, I exhaled for the first time that morning. This was it. The moment everything was set into motion. At 8:20, and exactly 8 minutes after she left, the movers arrived. 2 men stepped into the apartment, and I guided them straight to the hallway closet where I had already packed everything. They didn't ask questions. They didn't need to. Box after box moved out of the home I thought we'd build our future in. Books I bought with her. Clothes she once folded for me. Photos with smiles that didn't belong to our reality anymore. Each item that left the apartment felt like a piece of my old life being lifted off my chest. By 10 a.m., the place looked different, bare, silent, almost like a stage after the final performance. All that remained of me were a few empty shelves. And the letter. I placed it on the kitchen counter right where she left her phone the night everything started. Just one envelope with her name written on it. No anger. No harsh words. Just truth. The truth she created. The truth she hid. The truth she never thought would be laid out so clearly. Before leaving, I took one last slow look around the apartment. The living room where she told me she loved me. The kitchen where we shared weekend breakfasts. The hallway where we used to laugh for no reason. Strange how a place can hold memories, but not meaning anymore. I turned off the lights, closed the door gently behind me, and walked away. No dramatic goodbye. No slamming doors. Just quiet closure. By noon, I was in my new apartment, sitting on the floor surrounded by boxes. It felt strange, empty, but in that emptiness, I felt something I hadn't felt in months. Peace. Then the calls began. Her name lit up my phone again and again. 5 times. 7 times. 12 times. At first, she didn't leave messages. Then she did. Her voice sounded shaken, confused, then panicked. "Where are you? Why is everything gone? I don't understand. Please call me." I didn't answer. Not because I wanted to hurt her, but because this was her moment to face the truth without interruption. Soon another message came. This time her voice cracked. "I found the letter. Please, can we talk?" Please, that word please used to move me. Not anymore. She wasn't calling because she loved me. She was calling because the lies she built finally collapsed under their own weight. And all I did was step out of the way and let gravity handle the rest. A little later, a longer voicemail came through. Her breathing uneven, her voice shaking. I'm sorry. I messed up. I didn't think you'd ever leave. I didn't think it would end like this. I didn't think. She stopped talking halfway through. Like she didn't know how to finish the sentence. And maybe she didn't. Because when someone betrays you, they imagine everything except the moment you walk away for good. I listened to the message once, then muted my phone. She texted again and again, paragraphs, confessions, excuses, promises she should have made months ago. But I didn't respond, not out of cruelty, not out of revenge. I stayed silent because I wanted her to sit with the truth, her truth, without the chance to twist it. Silence is a powerful answer, sometimes stronger than any words. By the evening, her messages had slowed down. The panic faded into something else. Realization that the man she betrayed wasn't waiting for her anymore. Realization that the life she thought she controlled was already gone. I closed my eyes, leaned back against the wall, and let out a long, tired breath. It was over. Not with a fight, not with a scene, but with truth finally rising to the surface. And sometimes, that's all it takes to break the world someone built on lies. When she realized I wasn't coming back, everything changed. The calls didn't stop that night. They carried into the next morning, then the afternoon, then the evening. My phone buzzed so much I had to put it face down just to think. At first, her messages were confused. Where are you? Please tell me this is a mistake. I don't understand what's happening. Then confusion turned into desperation. I read the letter. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Please, let's talk. Then desperation turned into long, messy paragraphs, words spilling over like she was trying to fix months of damage in a single text. She confessed everything. The late-night calls, the messages, the moments she hid from me, the nights she said she was too tired when she was really out with him. She even admitted parts I didn't know about, details that stung, but somehow made the truth feel even clearer. I never meant to hurt you. I was confused. I didn't think you would ever find out. That was the line that stayed with me. She didn't think I'd ever find out. Not that she regretted doing it. Not that she cared about the relationship enough to protect it. Just that she didn't expect the truth to catch up. Her calls shifted again into guilt, into tears, into fear. You didn't even yell. You didn't fight. You just left. Why? Please say something. Please don't leave me like this. But I stayed silent, not because I wanted to break her emotionally, not because I wanted revenge in a cruel way, and not because I enjoyed watching her panic. I stayed silent because I realized something important. When someone betrays you, they already broke everything. Your silence just lets the pieces fall where they belong. And in my silence, she had to face the mirror I left for her. Meanwhile, my new apartment slowly became a home. I unpacked my boxes one by one, set up my bed, hung a few photos, made myself dinner in a quiet kitchen without tension in the air. It felt strange, peaceful, steady, real. Every day I woke up a little lighter. Every night I felt a little more like myself again. Moving on didn't happen instantly. Healing never does. But I wasn't hurting the same way anymore. The pain wasn't sharp. It was fading into something that taught me more about who I am and what I deserve. One evening, as the sun set through the blinds, I sat on my new couch and thought about everything that had happened. The lies, the sleepless nights, the silence, the letter, the move, asterisk. And for the first time, I didn't feel anger anymore. Just understanding. Betrayal isn't about you. It never was. It's a reflection of the other person, their weakness, their confusion, their lack of respect for something you valued. And when someone betrays you, the worst thing you can do is let their actions define your worth. That my quiet revenge wasn't about hurting her. It wasn't about winning. It wasn't about making her feel small, that it was about walking away with dignity. Choosing myself. Choosing peace over drama. Clarity over chaos. And honestly, that silence, my silence, said everything I needed to say. Weeks passed, and the calls slowly stopped. The messages faded. The apologies ended. She finally understood. I wasn't coming back. Not because I hated her, but because I deserved a life that wasn't built on lies, and she needed to sit with the truth. She avoided for months. In the end, she didn't lose me because I left. She lost me the moment she chose betrayal over honesty. My quiet revenge wasn't a punishment. It was a reminder that sometimes the strongest thing you can do is walk away. And if there's one message I want you to take from my story, it's this. When someone betrays you, don't fight to stay in a place that already broke you. Don't lower yourself trying to fix what they chose to destroy. Walk away with your dignity, your peace, and your truth, because the most powerful revenge you will ever have is choosing a life where their lies no longer control your future. If this story hit your heart, if you've ever had to choose your own peace, then don't leave without subscribing. Every story here is a reminder that you're stronger than the betrayal you survived. Hit like, drop a comment, and subscribe for more real, emotional stories. Your strength, your healing, your comeback starts here.